All right, we were talking about interest rates are rising right now. I think one way it was characterized in the Wall Street Journal going from ultra low to, well, just low. They're still very, very low, but they are at a 7-year high. And for a lot of people, that spells housing slowdown. But who says? After this. For example, mortgage rates today are fetching around 4.61%. This is for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. That represents about a 7-8-year high. Now, what happens from there? Let's get it. The take from real estate experts Jason Meister and Katrina Campins. Jason, are you getting worried?
I'm not, Neil. Buying a home is not a whim purchase. It's not like going to the mall and buying a pair of jeans. People think about buying a home for some time. They save up the deposit. So this is a well thought out process, and interest rates are still really low, historically speaking. I mean, my grandparents saw 15, 16% interest rate. This is still a very low interest rate environment, so I think it's really going to have a very little impact, if an impact at all.
Katrina, to that point, I'm sounding like an old fogey, like your dad saying, I walk 6 miles to school each way, uphill, both ways. But my wife and I, we had a 13.5% mortgage when we got our first home in the early 80s. Different environment then, so I can't quite relate to the panic that ensues when people see what's happening now. Having said that, we are what we get used to, right? And is people who have been getting used to these low rates, when they're not so low, does that factor into their decision-making process?
Well, I agree with what Jason is stating, and these rates continue to go up, but we still have not seen a correlation between buyers exiting the market as a result of that. Now, that's not to say that it won't happen if we reach 5% or higher than that, but we have been extremely blessed and spoiled, I would say, with these low interest rates. If anything, I think it's incentivizing people to jump into the market and actually purchase. And as Jason mentioned, this is something that people have thought out for a long time. So if interest rates go up slightly, they're not going to exit their plan of action to buy a home as a result of that. Remember that every market, and Neil, you and I have discussed this many times, is different. So I'm in South Florida. The market here is very different than the rest of the world, but we're also seeing that the medium price in homes has actually gone up to about $300,000. That means that a starter home is now $300,000. So I think the bigger problem here is the fact that we have very low supply, prices are going up, and at some point wages have to keep up with that. Otherwise, I think that we will see a problem. But I think that right now, the market is extremely healthy because the economy is doing well and people are very bullish about that. Even in South Florida, I have to say that I'm getting so many Northerners and people from California because of the tax implications, and they're moving to Florida, and it's really becoming.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect. Jason, having said that, if you look at the backdrop for these rising rates and improving economy, or mostly an improving economy, is there a level at which you say, all right, maybe 4.5%, maybe 5%, 5.5%, I don't know. I mean, a number in the back of your head that would make you pause.
I don't think so. I think because as the economy is sort of going gangbusters and unemployment is a 17-year low, wages are growing at the fastest pace since January, I think, of 2009. Wages are growing faster than the interest rate environment. So I think that's telling. I think that people buy homes with their jobs. They buy homes with their wages. They don't buy homes with interest rates.
But do they get
tax
ruled
deductions.
out and priced out when interest rates? I mean, I'll get this mortgage if it's at 4%. I won't if it's at 4.5% or 5%.
I think it really comes down to the job market. I think that if people feel like there's money in their pockets and they have confidence in the economy and the stock market is doing well, I think they're going to buy homes.
What about appraisers, Katrina? Jason and I were briefly mentioning during the break the role that they play in this. I would imagine banks, still burnt by the last real estate meltdown, have been very cognizant of the fact that they want to keep those appraisals conservative. And a lot of people selling their homes would like to keep them not so conservative. A lot of people buying homes would like a lot more flexibility. So how much does that come into play?
Well, ultimately, we're all at the mercy of an appraiser and even though it's very subjective, they are being a lot more conservative. But I have to say that all
has
of the
not
properties
changed, has it? It has not budged.
No, but I have to say I'm very surprised that I've sold 3 properties this month, and all of them appraised above the purchase price, which is very rare.
That's interesting.
So I think what you're seeing is that there is such a low supply and demand is there. People want to buy homes. They're very excited about the economy. So appraisers, although they're conservative, I am seeing people appraise, or properties, I should say, being appraised for above what people are asking. Not by a lot, but slightly above.
All right, Katrina, final word. Jason, thank you. Good seeing you again.